So, the yarn that I used for this project was called Homespun Stripes by Lion Brand. In the colour way Petunia Stripes. There's 185 yards per skein, and it's a bulky number 5, 98% acrylic and 2% other fibre. I'm assuming that's the black twist that you get that's going around it, which I'll point out to you once we start making the wrap. I ended up going through almost 2 skeins. This is what's left of the second one. So that's all you'll need. 2 skeins through it. So let's get on with oh yeah, before I forget, I also used a 9mm hook. So let's start. The actual pattern has a multiple. The multiple is 4 plus 2. So for the wrap that I made, I chained 102 chains. I'm going to show you on a smaller scale, mainly because I've got my big bit done. So I'm just showing you on a smaller scale. 3, 4. So once you've got your chain done, what we're going to do, let's move that over there, is start the first. It's a 2-row repeat. So that the foundation row literally starts it off by skipping the first chain and double crocheting into the second chain from the hook. So once you've done that, you then need to chain 5. Once you've chained 5, along the bottom you need to skip 3 chains and double crochet into the 4th chain from the 4th chain, like so. So that's your first loop. Let's move up again. Can never find a good spot for that. Out the way. And then chain another 5. And then skip 3 chains at the bottom again. 1, 2, 3, and double crochet into the 4th chain. And repeat that all the way down to the bottom, to the end of your chain. So in theory, if you're doing the same as me, you should end up having 24 of these chain 5 spaces and 25 double crochets, and I'll meet you at the end of the work. So once you got to the end of the row, you should have, if you're following along with me, you should have 24 chain 5 spaces and 25 single crochet spaces. Now what we're going to do, so you should have done double crochet at the end of the row to end the row. So row 2 is the start of the repeat row, and what we need to do is chain 3 and turn your work. Now right back into that double crochet from the row below, we need to do another treble crochet. Every row 2 will start with a chain 3 chain 3, and that will class as 1 treble crochet. And there will always be 2 trebles. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. 2 trebles into the each double crochet from the row before. what we now need to do is we'll be working into the double even crochet space from each row below. So we need to kind of, and in theory making diamonds, we need to be pulling this up to kind of give it a bit of a triangle shape. So what we need to do is chain 1, go into the chain space, pull up and do a single crochet like so. And then chain another one. So that, in theory, once I get my tail out of the way, is half of a diamond. You can see it. And then once you've done your chain 1 single crochet, double crochet into the chain space, chain 1, you're now in theory at the double crochet from the previous row. So in that we need to do a V-stitch. So you yarn over, go through the hole, come back through, and do your treble. Chain 1, and do another treble into the same space, and that's what's classed as your V-stitch for this pattern. A treble, chain 1, and another treble, and that classed as a V-stitch. So now we need to hop over the next chain space. Sorry, I'm just getting in that way. So we need to chain 1, go into the chain space, do a double crochet, chain 1, and now if you have a full look, that looks, once it's pulled up a bit, looks like a diamond shape. Ooh. So now we're at the next double crochet, so we need to do another V-stitch into that space. Like that. And then chain 1. You always chain 1 at the start of the V-stitch and after the V-stitch, which then gives it more of like a fan look. And then we at our next chain 5 space, we need to do a double crochet into the chain 5 space, chain 1 to come out of it, and then we're at a double crochet from the previous row. So we need to do our V-stitch, which is treble, chain 1, and another treble into that same space, and then you chain 1 at the end of it, and you will repeat that all the way to the end of the row, and I'll meet you there. So once you've got to the end of the row, you should have done your last V-stitch into your double crochet from the row below, chain 1, single double crochet into the chain space, and chained 1, and you're at your last double crochet from the row below. We need to do it, finish it like we started it at the beginning. So we need to do 2 trebles into that double crochet from the row below. Like so. Yep, so you should have, in theory, 24 full diamonds and 2 halves, I think. Anyway, so row 3, which is your second row repeat, the second row repeat, you need to chain 1, turn your work. Now in the top of the double from the treble from the previous row, you need to do a double. And in theory, it's like your first row, but because we're not working into the chain foundation row, we're just working in the top of the V-stitches, we need to do your doubles in top of your V-stitches. So what we need to do, so we've done the double crochet on top of the treble from the row below, chain 5, 4, 5, and then hop over to the top of into the middle of the V-stitch of the row below and do a double crochet, like so. So that's the chain 5 space like there is the row below, 2 rows below. So your chain spaces will always be on top of your chain spaces, and your diamonds would be on top of your diamonds. Right. So once you've done your double crochet, you then do chain 5, and hop over to your next V-stitch and do a double crochet into the middle of it, and you repeat that all the way to the end, and I'll meet you at the last V-stitch. So once you've got to your last V-stitch, you should have done a double crochet into the top of it and chained 5. Now, like the beginning, you started with a double crochet in the top of the first double crochet, treble crochet from the row below. But on this one, what we have is a double crochet and a chain 3 from the row below. So you need to find the top of the chain 3 and do a double crochet into it. One second. Like so. I think my hook didn't want to go in there. So then you should then be back at the end. So once you've done that, you've got some more. You'll then again will have 25 double crochets and 24 chain 4 spaces. Chain 5 spaces even. Going back across, and then all you now need to do for row number 4 is repeat row number 2. So that's chain 3, turn your work, and go back in and do a treble crochet into the top of the double crochet from the row below. Chain 1, and then you should be at your first chain 5 space where you go into the middle and do a double crochet into the top of it, like that. And then chain 1, and then you should then enter your V-stitch on top of the double crochet from the row below. And then chain 1 after your double V-stitch, and then double crochet into this chain 5 space, and you will repeat that all the way to the end. So once you have got to the end, and you've done your last V-stitch on top of the last double crochet, and then you've chained 1 and you're at the end, and your last double crochet from the row before, you then enter you do 2 trebles, like so. Almost did chain 1 space though. And that's the end of the row. So just all you need to do is repeat them 2 rows over and over again. So I'll go through it one more time with you, and I'll put the timestamps in for you. So for row For row 5, you're repeating row number 3, which is chain 1, turn your work, and double crochet into the second chain from your hook, which is the top of the treble crochet from the row below, like so. Chain 5, and then you're and then in the top of the V-stitch from the row below, do a double crochet, chain 5, and repeat this until the end of the row. Once you get to the end of the row, you then need to do a double crochet into the top of the chain 3 from the row below. That's it. And then on the 6th row, you need to repeat what's on row 2, which is chain 3, turn your work, and do a treble crochet back into the double crochet like that. Chain 1, find the chain 5 space and do a double crochet into it. Chain 1, and then you're in the double crochet from the row below, and then you need to do a V-stitch, which is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and repeat that until the end of the row. In which, when you get to the end of the row, you'll be doing two double crochets into the last two treble crochets in the end of the row. And so that's what it will start to look like after so many rows. You'll need to repeat that for 20 rows in total. So in theory, I think you have 10 full diamonds. I ended up on a diamond, an even row, or a V-stitch row, and I ended up adding my fringe into these spaces, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. So all I did was I cut some length of yarn that I thought was a decent size length. I did 3 strands together. Now I did one in the top of that stitch and one on top of the last stitch of the row, and then the rest, all I did was did it in the middle of the V-stitch, in the chain 1 space, pulled it through like so with my yarn needle, with my hook hooked around like that, and pulled it tight. And then, as you can see, it actually pulls that out a little bit more. So that's how I did my fringe, and then I just trimmed it at the bottom just to give it a bit more neatness. So yeah, I hope that was okay for you, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you've liked the video, put a thumbs up and leave a comment on how well you thought it was. Tell me what you made out of the stitch, because you don't actually have to use the stitch for the wrap that I made. You can also make it as a jumper, which would look quite nice as a jumper or even a jacket. So I hope you liked this tutorial, and thank you for watching.